Welcome back to part two of our anime tier list. These are going to be our crack views on the rest of them for you.
And I don't
If
have
you
the
don't know
list
what,
up in front of me, Benny. Let's just get straight into it. The people watched part one. They know what we're doing. Let's just start straight
yeah.
into it. What's our first anime?
Let's see. We're going to kick it off with One Punch Man. I have not
Oh,
seen.
ooh,
I'll pull up my
one
calculator from that to do math.
One Punch Man. See, now this is a lot of. This has the same, not problem, but it's an issue that some anime have where the first season is pretty good. I really like the first season. If I were to just give out of 100% like the first season, I would probably give it maybe like an 85. So I think it's a really good season, a really good show. Season one, season two, I found actually kind of boring, especially like middle of the season, because the whole gimmick of One Punch Man. Because you've never seen it, so I'm just gonna give like kind of give you a basic description. The whole gimmick is that imagine if Goku, when he was like, just imagine he's as strong as he is now, but when he was a kid. So he literally one punches everything. That is One Punch Man, as like described by the creator. I can't remember the creator's name, but that's how it's described by him. He's like, his power isn't infinite. It's just he is at the end game when everybody's at like the beginning right now. So that's the whole gimmick of One Punch Man. That's why he's able to one tap everything. Now
So
we're going.
Wait,
Okay.
is it completed?
No,
The
no.
manga's still going and everything?
Manga's still going. I'm pretty sure. I
Okay.
don't know what's happening
So
right now.
I was gonna say, so like later on, does he still just one tap everything?
Spoiler alert for people who haven't. The one thing that I know from the manga is that there's a character called Garo that I think you would really like. He's actually a pretty cool character. He gets a power from. I'm pretty sure he gets power from like God, like literal like God of that universe, and he's actually able to somewhat fight Saitama. I don't think he wins. I'm pretty sure Saitama still beats him, but I'm pretty sure as of right now, they call him Cosmic Garo. I'm pretty sure he is the closest that has ever gotten to actually giving Saitama a good fight.
Okay. I've never even seen this, and I hope I never watch this, to be honest with you. That's so stupid to me. It's stupid. In my personal opinion, I don't like shit like that. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna one tap literally every cool story. Next episode.
The main draw to it is that there are some moments that are funny, like it's supposed to be a comedy, and some jokes hit pretty well. And I'd say the two biggest draws for One Punch Man is its comedy and its characters. I think its characters are actually pretty good, so I think that's the highest it will be scored on. But I think the lowest it will be scored on, the fighting is actually, when it's not Saitama fighting, the fighting's actually choreographed pretty good. So I can't give the fighting a bad score.
Quick, just to give the audience a recap, just in case they're just clicking on this one.
Oh, true.
We are scoring, how we are scoring is off story, animation, fighting, and characters. And each score can get a max of 25 points out of 100. So it is the American grading scale. Obviously, if you get like 90, you get an A. In the 80s, B, so on and so forth. And Colton will be the only one rating this anime because I have not seen it, so that would be not fair.
And I'm pretty sure there's some anime coming up that you've seen that I haven't. Well, I'm pretty sure there's some coming.
I think one.
There's one. Which one is it?
There's, I think, only one. Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga, yes. I have not seen Vinland
Saga. Hell's Paradise, maybe?
I've seen Hell's Paradise.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Well, anyways, let's go back to One Punch Man.
But anyway,
here.
Let's get back to...
I'm gonna ask you. So, scope, story, you kind of just gave some rundown there. What would you rate the story for... what do you call it? One Punch Man?
I think it's a very doable, just average story. I wouldn't say it's stellar. I think At worst, it's mediocre, especially in season 2 when the martial arts tournament. I did not like the martial arts tournament. I thought it was a huge waste of time and it was actually boring. So I think that's take some points. So I think I would give it a 15 on story. Like, it's not horrible. So I don't think it deserves to be below average, because like below average would be like what 13 and below or something like that. So I think
Yeah.
I think 15 would be a fair score for
It's a
story.
little above average, barely though.
Give it
Alright,
average
let's go
14.
over-
Give it average 14.
You want to give it 14?
14. I think it's just an average
Okay.
story.
14 for the story. Animation.
Animation's pretty good. It's pretty modern. The fights are pretty smooth, and there is a fight in season 1 where it took more than one punch to beat a guy. Spoiler alert. And that fight was actually pretty good. Like, the animation on it, they went pretty fucking nuts. And in season 2, there's one fight that I can think of where I thought the animation, wow, they did a really good job. So I think animation, I'll give it an 18. It's overall good, and there's only a few moments that I'd be like, oh wow.
Fighting.
But like I said earlier, when it's not Saitama fighting, the fights are actually pretty good. Especially with Garo. His fights are amazing when they pop up. I really like his fights. But when the Saitama, like we said, it's just he one taps everything, so I don't think I can go anything higher than like 16.
And then last category is characters.
I think characters is its strongest point, because there is a character in there that I love. His name's King, and he is the world's strongest man. He's supposed to be like the strongest hero, and he's just such a badass. He's so cool. Saitama as a character, imagine, I'm trying to think of like who he'd compare to that you and me would know. I might think of something later, but he is just, imagine an average dude who just becomes like the strongest in the universe, and all he wants to do is just basically use his powers for fun. That's his tagline. His tagline is literally he's a hero for fun. He doesn't do it because he wants to take it. I know, no, he's not like you at all. You'd be the exact opposite.
No hero, bro.
Oh, that's no.
I'm Sugar Rocky.
No, he wants to help people, but he's not. Like, there's professional heroes. He didn't even know you could be a professional hero when he was like, he saved the world like countless times, or like he saved cities countless times, and he didn't even know you could be a professional hero and get paid for it and shit. The hero system is a lot like MHA actually, because like there's professional heroes, and then you can form groups with other heroes and whatnot, and there's a ranking system in it. It's S, A, B, C, and E. Those are the hero ranks. There are 17 S rank heroes, I'm pretty sure, right now, and we've seen all of them except one, and that is the number 1 ranked hero, and his name is Blast. But I imagine he'll be cool when we see him. But for characters, I think I would give it a 20. Their characters are actually pretty good. I like them.
All right.
My prediction is that this is coming out to a C tier.
Probably.
Which season 3 may pick up, and I might like it, and that would drag the score up. But as of right now, season 2, I just was not a huge fan of. I hated the martial arts tournament. What?
Ooh, it didn't even make C, dude.
It's a D tier.
It got 68%.
One Punch Man's a D tier. That's unfortunate.
Okay, I just drew my desk. All right. One Punch Man. All right. So next one is
Kaiju number 8.
I can only talk a little bit on this one. I've only seen
Well,
half of the first season.
you go ahead and start since I did that one.
All right. I will say I think Kaiju number for like the opening, like what do you call it? What do you call that? Like when you the opening of a show. Like every show has one. Like One Piece has like a million different versions of it.
They're called openings.
Yeah, whatever the opening is, they have the best opening anime I've ever freaking seen. The animation.
Rather than Attack on Titan season 4.
Yeah, that's where all the budget went. Was in that opening. Freaking, what do I have to say about it? I think so far what I've seen from it, I got to the part where they're doing like the testing or whatever it is, and then the one girl that's like a prodigy, whatever, like basically kills everything, and then and then like the big final monster or whatever in the testing, she just destroys, and then it comes back because some like mystical man's there or whatever, and then everyone's just like, oh, and then it's like way stronger now, and she gets mollywopped, and that's the last thing I remember. I'm pretty sure that was like the halfway point, I think, or somewhere around the halfway point. So from what I've seen from that point, from the beginning to that point, I think the story is amazing. I think the animation is flawless, but it's also because it's obviously modern. And then I think the fighting is unreal, choreographed, amazing. Just the first episode, like, hooks you immediately. You watch the first episode of Kaiju number 8, you're instantly letting it roll until you're probably done with the first season. What else do we got here? What was it? Story, animation. Story's amazing.
Characters.
Animation is amazing. Fighting is amazing. Oh yeah, characters. I freaking love the main character.
I knew that this would be your strongest point, would be the main character.
Okay. I think this main character in this anime is one of the best main characters, okay? And here's why. I feel like this is like a stupid reason. Because
he's old.
It's just my opinion. Yeah, because he's older. I think because he's like at the age limit, then they increase, so he has one last chance or whatever. And so he's like 30 something years old. Dude, every anime is always these little kids, or it's like, okay, little kids. It's always like teenagers about to be like young adults, but they're not young adults yet. They're still teenagers. And it's just annoying to me that you have these god tier beings out there that have spent decades harnessing their ability, wisdom, everything. And then they're like, oh, let me just throw this 15-year-old at you. He's going to mollywop you in 2 seconds.
That's much like Black Clover and Naruto. They do that a lot in those two shows.
It bothers the hell out of me. Okay? At least Tanjiro in Demon Slayer goes through like an actual training arc or all this stuff. But then you have some main characters there that are just ridiculous. Like, oh, they're just strong because they're destined to be strong.
Ichigo.
Okay, well, that's... I don't know what that is. Oh, is that Bleach?
It's Bleach.
Okay. Yeah, that just annoys me. I hate stuff like that. So I favor this main character a lot more. And he's not even strong in the slightest.
He's very relatable. He's very relatable. That's what I personally like about him.
I agree with that. He's very relatable. He's just out here making his way through the world. That's all he's doing.
I mean, fuck. The 10 views we're going to have on this video, we may have 10, fucking like 5 of those are going to come from you and me, and then maybe the other 5 from our friends, and we may actually get 2 random people on the internet who watch this. So we can very much relate to him. He's literally just trying his hardest to achieve his dreams. He tries so fucking hard. So he's very relatable.
Yeah, then he gets his lucky break, which, I mean, I don't know what's happened with that because I haven't finished the season. All I know is this little freaking bug-looking thing just deep throats him or whatever, and then he just turns into a kaiju basically.
So hey, you heard it from Benny. You need to take what he did into consideration.
Yep.
All he had to do was one deep throat, and his life turned around. Yep. Take that to heart.
Throat goats. All right. So, I'm pretty sure we're just gonna probably stop talking on it right there. Because if you say anything to me, I'm pissed off because you're gonna spoil some shit.
The only thing I will say,
For
I
the
won't spoil
audience,
it. There is a big fight for the last 2 episodes, and the fight was pretty damn good. I will say that. So look forward to that because there's, typically in anime, there's a big fight like the last either episode or 2 episodes of a season, and there is one in this, and it is very good. Just keep that in mind.
okay. Yeah, I know we've been spoiling like every anime and stuff, but I mean, if you clicked,
This one's new though. This one's new though.
I know. I'm talking to the audience here, not like you specifically.
Oh no, I'm also saying it to the audience. Like, if we spoil Bleach, we don't care about Bleach. It finished in like 2012, and I haven't seen Blood War, and I probably never will because I don't like that show. We rated it F for a reason. But something like Bleach, Dragon Ball, Naruto, if you haven't completely finished it by now, you probably never will.
I'll finish it at some point.
Yeah,
but I will finish Naruto at some point, bro. You gotta give me time. But anyways, yeah, but I feel like even if you click like, regardless of this our video, you go watch something like a bigger YouTuber or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like you're gonna get spoiled. Like I'm sorry. So
at least on something
stuff like that. Yeah. So let's go over the ratings here. Kaiju number 8. I'm still gonna give a rating because I already know it's amazing. But it's a story. So I've seen. I'm going to give it a. I'll give it a 19.
I was going to go 17-18 range, so I think 19 I'm fine with.
Yeah, because I don't think it should be in the 20s, but it is good.
Just because of the story, it's only had one season, so I don't think it's fair to give it a super high score for rating or rating for story. Just because like we've only seen one season and the story's like basically just starting, so I don't think it's fair to give it like a 20 or something.
Hold on. Alright, sorry, I was just looking at something. Animation. I think the animation needs to be like, dude, like 22, 23.
I'm trying to think if I have any problems with it. I would go to 23 because I can't think I have any problems with it. If I can't give it a 24 or 25 because I think to other ones where we gave like perfect scores for animation, I don't think it's on that quality, but I think a 23 is pretty fair.
Okay. Fighting, I think it should be like 24, 25. It's freaking good, bro. Like you watch the first episode and you're just like, you're instantly hooked, dude.
Just trying to think on my actual thoughts on the fighting, because like I said, the final fight is pretty good. I think I would personally, because we don't see him fight in his kaiju form all that much, so it's a lot of like the gun combat, which I'm fine with. I think they do it fairly well. So I think on that, I personally would give it a 22.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it 22. And then characters.
This is its strongest point, if you ask me.
Okay, I don't know if they introduce any more characters. I assume they do.
You've met, at that point, you should have met, like, basically all of them. But I still think characters is, like, as of right now, because they haven't had a chance to really flesh out characters all that much so far, because they've only had 12 episodes. I still think, well, animation will probably be its highest overall points, but like story and like everything else wise, I think this is its strongest point, if you ask me. Just because like how much we talked about the main character, I really like Kafka. I think he's an amazing main character.
So are you going to 23, 24?
I'd give it a 23. I would, because then I think animation's by itself, like, you know what I mean, like it's overall part of it, but I think
Because you're
those three are by themselves, kind of.
yeah, because if you're saying this is like the character's the strongest point, we gave the animation a 23. So theoretically, the character's rating would have to be higher.
I'm fine with a 23.
Okay. Do the math here.
This comes out to like an 88.
Came out to 87.
Oh, close. High B tier. I think that's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet when season 2 and then season 3 comes along, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if we ever did this list again that it would go up.
Mm-hmm. All right. For the next one.
Oh, is this a good one?
Well, it's good for me. I wouldn't say you specifically. Vinland Saga.
Okay, so before we started this, I have not seen Vinland Saga, so this one is going to be all Benny. Benny, take us away.
Dude. Okay. Vinland Saga. How do I explain this? First season is one of the best seasons in anime ever. Okay? And then you get into the second season. Trash. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sorry. Like it took me so long to get through the second season, dude, because I just kept falling asleep. And then I have to go back and rewatch it and I just fall asleep again. It is so incredibly boring. And how do I explain this? So basically, in the first season, Thorfinn, the main character, do you want me to spoil it or no?
This one's newer, so save it for the two people watching us.
Well, I mean, also for you too.
I personally don't care about spoilers because I don't think I'll end up watching this. I may one day once it's completely done. I might.
Honestly, you should just watch the first season, never watch it again. Okay, I'm serious. Just watch the first season, that's it. But it's basically Thorfinn, the main character, wants to be just like his dad. Oh, and it's set in the Viking age or whatever.
Oh, I knew that.
And yeah, well, for the audience. And basically him, I'm trying to remember how old he was. He was young. He had to been like 14, 15, 16 max. And he gets set out with his dad on a trip to go Viking, basically. A bunch of stuff happens, and then he goes through a tragic experience. And then his dad dies, and his dad shouldn't have lost the fight, but this character named Askeladd, I'm pretty sure I was named Askeladd, by the way, top tier anime character, I don't care what anyone says, like kind of like adopts him, but he's like a slave, but he's not a slave, but he like owes. It's weird.
Askeladd's a slave?
No, Thorfinn.
Oh.
Because Askeladd kills his dad and then like everyone else basically. Because Dad challenged Askeladd to a duel. His dad should have won, but Askeladd cheated. And they're like Askeladd's an amazing, like, I mean, he's like one of the best fighters in the world. But Thorfinn's dad was better. So Askeladd was not prepared to fight like someone like slightly better than him, basically. And then Thorfinn basically like just follows Askeladd around in the world, and Thorfinn like challenged Askeladd to a duel every now and then. Askeladd. That is his end game goal, is to kill Askeladd. That's all he wants. And Askeladd kind of like trains him, but he doesn't train him. He trains him in the way like he's like, since this kid's just following him in a like Viking crew, Askeladd's like, okay, if you want to have a duel, go kill that entire fort of people. Oh. And then Thorfinn becomes like this bloodthirsty Viking fucking. Like, it is so cool because he just uses these cool two little knives and he just runs straight into a fort himself. and I wouldn't say he's like physically super agile, quick. He's very skilled. He's like an assassin, basically. It's like literally playing like one of the original Assassin's Creed. That's Thorfinn.
Oh.
Yeah. And then so he'll just run to a fort and just slaughter it. And then Askeladd like, okay, you can try to challenge me now. And then Askeladd just kicks his ass. And then a bunch of that happens. Yeah, it happens a couple of times. And then you kind of see his like progress, like how he gets better at fighting and more thirsty, and more kind of like his mind snapping, because all he wants to do is just kill Askeladd. And the more people he kills, the more it like torrents his mind, because he's like this like savage basically. And then they meet like one of the kings or princes of the Viking age, and he's like this total like soft, kind-hearted person. Almost he literally, but he's a dude. And then Thorfinn or Askeladd's supposed to watch over him. Askeladd has his own plan stuff, and then Askeladd kind of manipulates the to get what he wants or whatever. It's kind of like political type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also like on the battlefield because they have to escort the prince, I think, back somewhere. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the first season. And then all this shit happens, and then I think they're fighting the French. They're either fighting the French or the English. And then there's this one main meet, and this character is total badass. This dude is like 8 feet tall, and there's no like superpowers or anything, right, in the show.
Oh, I'd assume so. It's Vikings.
This guy literally like is wielding a log, dude, like an actual tree, like a whole tree. He's massive. No, dude, he's strong. And then so he's just sitting there, and all this dude has to do is just fight, kill. He's a total Viking. And then like he looks at Thorfinn, and he's never met someone like Thorfinn, because Thorfinn actually gives him like a run for his money, quotation marks, but he doesn't when they first meet at the same time. He's just impressed. Mm-hmm. And then that guy wants to do is fight. That is all he wants to do. But Askeladd's like, we're getting the fuck out of here, basically. They leave with the prince and all this stuff, and then somehow they end up meeting with his band of Vikings, Askeladd's band of Vikings. Thorfinn Askeladd allows him to fight the big dude or something. And then it's a total badass fight, dude. Badass fight. And I'm pretty sure Thorfinn barely wins. Or maybe he doesn't win. I can't remember. It was a weird. I just remember mind boggled. And then come to find out that dude was best friends with Thorfinn's dad. And then they find out that Thorfinn's all this stuff happens. And then Askeladd has like own plans basically with the prince, and he sends his like right hand man thing, and Askeladd like kind of betrays his crew or something happens with it, and then Askeladd kind of just kills everybody, and then he makes all his way off with the prince. They get to where they need to go, all this stuff happens, and then once they deliver the prince to his father, Askeladd reveals like his like plan and stuff. And then his plan was, everyone thinks like Askeladd's a Viking. He's not. These are massive spoilers, by the way. I don't care though. Askeladd's not a Viking. He was part of some other. I think it was probably like some Roman region or something that the Vikings took over, and they just like killed all of his people basically. And Askeladd, I'm pretty sure, is like the last people or something.
Askeladd's
like
a Roman.
He's like something like that. I don't know if he's a Roman, but he's not a Viking or like Scandinavian or whatever. Or maybe he is, but he's something. I just remember it had something to do with Rome, because they go into like his backstory a little bit. And then I think his people are still around. They're just kind of like really weakened, and he just kind of wants to get back. So then he literally, I'm pretty sure he kills the Viking king at the time, which is the prince's dad. And then everyone jumps on Askeladd and kills Askeladd. So Thorfinn never gets his get back ever. and it makes Thorfinn go like insane. Like he snaps because his only purpose in life was to kill Askeladd. Askeladd promised him that he'd allow Thorfinn his duels, which he always allowed Thorfinn his duels, but Thorfinn always lost. But now Thorfinn will never get that goal of killing Askeladd because he's dead now. And then that's kind of like that's pretty much all that happens in season 1. And that is like the very crack fused version of season 1. I just that very. And then you get into season 2, and then it's literally him on a ranch as a slave. And instead of Thorfinn being this bloodthirsty savage, he is an unsalted saltine. He's monotone the whole freaking season. He just kind of sits there and goes, "Hey guys, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do that. And oh, look over there. Oh, I can't do that. So, maybe we shouldn't get..." Like, that is him the entire season. So they did a complete 180 on his character. So they ruined the character, in my opinion. And then,
so he becomes a pussy.
Yes, like he literally refuses to fight, basically. And then they introduce a new character, best friend, also. And the whole goal, the first half of the second season, is them clearing out a tree line in a forest. Because if they clear this out and plant seeds, then the slave guy or slave owner will allow them to plant seeds and make money to buy their freedom, and then they get to keep that land and contribute to the farm, basically. Because the dude just trying to create like some community or something. And then they do that.
Unethical slaver.
Yeah, no, he's actually a good guy. The slave owner is actually a good guy because he purposely listen.
It's funny. It's an oxymoron.
I know, because he goes out and buys slaves so he can allow them to buy their freedom back, and then he also gives them all this for free, basically. Yeah, he's actually a good guy. Well, for the most part, he's a good guy, and then his whole character fucking at the end. And then his best friend falls in love with another slave. And a bunch of random shit happens. And then they introduce this new main swordsman that's like this like fucking mainstream swordsman, Giga Chad. And he kind of watches over the farms and stuff and listens to the master. And then that's pretty much the whole season. And then you get to the very episodes. The prince that was in the first season comes back, and his character to complete, instead of bringing peace and all this stuff, he freaking is like, "Oh, I'm going to come here and take your first." And he doesn't want to, but he wants to, which is kind of weird. And then the slave master gets all these makeshift in band together of like slaves and other, the freaking the strongest clan of Vikings, and they only brought 100 men with the prince, and that's all they needed to fight this huge horde of people. They just decimated. It was a slaughter. And then of course Thorfinn's not going to go down there. He doesn't go down there to help. And then fucking at the very end, Thorfinn wants to talk to the prince and be like, "Hey, can you please leave?" basically. And they don't let him. So then they find the biggest and strongest Viking band of 100 dudes or whatever. And he said, "If you can survive 100 punches, then I will allow you to talk to the prince." Now everyone's watching him get punched 100 times, and he takes all 100, and then they allow him to go talk. And then Thorfinn kind of talks to him, and he basically literally goes like this: "Hey, can you please leave? I know we had our differences in the past, but can you please leave?" And then the prince is like, "No, be gone."
Wow.
And then so the prince's character does a complete 180. Thorfinn's character does a complete 180. Thorfinn decides to finally go back home where he came from, first part of the season. And then that's pretty much what happens in the second season. And he goes back, and then they're like, "Oh, what are we going to do now? We're going to find Vinland, this place of freaking freedom." And now Thorfinn's just like this righteous that refuses to do violence. So the first season, he's a bloodthirsty son. murders everybody. In the second season, he completely refuses to do man. He's figured out his life and he's battled all this bullshit. So basically, he's boring as shit. And it just makes you really not interested, in my personal opinion. People are like, oh, well, it's character. Like, it's character. Okay, yeah, well, that's fine and dandy. I'm all for character development. But when you turn the character...
I mean, he develops as a character. Doesn't mean you have to like what he becomes.
Yeah, like, he just does a complete 180 from why people really love the season. Bloodthirsty savages, Viking type shit. And then now we're in a pacifist mode. He literally becomes pacifist. He does not want to fight at all. He refuses. It doesn't matter what happens to him. He could be dying and he will not fight. It's stupid. So stupid.
All because he didn't get his run back.
So stupid, dude. But that's pretty much the gist. So, story. Dude, the freaking second season tanks it, bro. First season's peak. Second season's horrible.
Oh, and this one you let me do the math because I wanna surprise you with what it comes out to. So you tell me what you rank it. I'm gonna do the math on this one.
So with the story, I'm going to give it. I gotta be in the middle, 14, just because the first
14?
season's phenomenal. Second season, and they're making it. So we'll see. Animation. I'll give it an 18. It's definitely well above average, or well, like some points above average there. 18.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting. The fighting that does happen in it is really freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
But it only happens in the first season, basically. So that's the only thing I'm going to judge it off of. We'll give fighting like a 20.
20.
Characters. Every character is good, except for the main character. Okay?
Which that can be a huge factor because it's the main character.
Mm-hmm. Thorfinn, which is the main character, first season, amazing. Second season, I cannot stand him in the second season. Dude. So it's like, how do you rate that?
It's all your opinion.
Can't be in the 20s. But I don't want to. Let's give it a 16. It has to be 16. I'll give it a little bit above average because the main character, he's amazing in the first season, and other characters bring the score up above average.
All right. So before I reveal it, do you have a guess on what you think it comes out to?
Oh, this has to be a D. Oh, there's no way.
Like number wise, percentage wise, what do you think it came out to?
Oh, dude, it's gotta be a high D, like 69.
It came out to a 68. You're close. Which I am fairly certain Vinland Saga is pretty popular and people rate it pretty highly.
Dude, no. Which I understand why. Like I said, first season, dude. I watched it because I watched the first season before the second season came out. Okay, it is amazing. It is one of the best first seasons of an anime ever. But then, dude, it's like the second season hits, and then it's just like, since there's only 2 seasons, it's just horrible. I don't care what anyone says. The second season is so boring. So that's why it's getting a 68 instead of a 50, okay? Because if we were to rate both seasons, dude, the first season would have been in the A's. The second season would have been an F. Dude, it wouldn't even got points. So.
All right, but it goes down into the D tier, high D tier, almost C tier. What's our next one?
That time I got reincarnated.
Okay, you never seen this one. This one, off the top of my head, what I think when I think of that show, I think of average. Like they don't do anything bad. They do some stuff pretty well, I think. But there's nothing in it that that just wows me. compared to everything else. Like we have a lot of things on here that just wow me. There's nothing on here that wows me, but there's nothing bad either. I will say my biggest complaint with it is that at points, especially where they're at in the third season right now, it is kind of boring. Just because, imagine you're playing a city builder, but as an anime. That's kind of what's happening right now in the third season. So the third season's a little bit boring as of right now where it's at. But season 1 has a lot of the city building. Season 2 has a lot more going on, story wise, and just bigger plot points happening in season 2. But let me give you a quick rundown of what it is. So it's just your average isekai. So like this guy in his old world. First, I don't know why, but there's this guy just running down the street with a knife, and he's about to stab his coworker that he's walking with, and then he jumps in front of his coworker and he gets stabbed instead. And his last words are "delete my hard drive," and then he dies. And then he obviously gets reincarnated into another world, but as a slime. And the reason he is so strong is that in this world there are things called, I can't remember exactly how to describe it, but there are dragons and then there's true dragons. There's only like 4 true dragons in the world, and he gets put into this cave, and in this cave is trapped one of the 4 true dragons named Veldora, the storm dragon. And he basically befriends it because Veldora's been trapped down there for like hundreds of years. And this is all in the, like, I think the first episode or 2, so this isn't really spoilers if you ever watch it. This is all just basic rundown, like first episode and whatnot. He befriends the dragon, and as a slime, his whole thing is that he's able to like eat anything and dissolve it. So what he does is he makes a deal with Veldora that he'll store Veldora within himself, like in his slime stomach, without like dissolving him, because he's able to store stuff in his stomach without choosing to dissolve it. So he stores Veldora in his stomach, and it just makes him insanely strong. And that's like the first 2 episodes, and that's like the basic plot points to get you going. I'll leave it there just in case you end up watching it one day. You probably won't, but you might. But let's get on to the points. Story. The story is a little bit above average, especially for season 2. I thought season 2 so far was the best out of all of them. I think story, it's a little bit above average. I'd probably give it like I'd give it a 15 because it's not that strong. It's kind of basic.
Mm-hmm.
And animation, it's decent. It's not as good as other stuff. I'd give it an 18.
Okay.
Fighting's honestly kind of mid. The fights don't really have much. There's not much meat to the fighting. It's very much, we're going to be doing a big move to finish you off in like one blow because how strong the characters are. There's not a whole lot of. The characters are usually fighting people who are a lot weaker than them, and it's just them dunking on them a lot. That's a lot of the fighting. I think there are so far 4 characters that the main character throughout like its 3 seasons has truly like struggled to fight. But it's not bad. I would give it average. Let's go 15. And then the characters.
Yep.
Characters. Ooh. There are some characters in here. Okay, the one problem I have with the show is that there's too much of a good thing. There are a lot of fucking characters to try and remember. Because the main character's name is Rimuru. That's his name. when he gets to the New World. His whole thing is that he wants to build a nation of monsters, but he wants to be friends with humans. So I think there's like 6 different countries that we've been introduced to that you need to know the names of like the characters from there. He literally has hundreds, maybe thousands of followers under him, and you have to remember probably about 20 of them. So that for me, there's too many characters. The characters aren't bad. There are a few characters that are pretty good. None of them really have like character development. They're kind of just who they are right now, and that's not bad. I would like to see some of them develop. Now, there is one character that drags it down. I was going to give it an 18, but there's one character. His name is Gabiru. Oh my god, what a useless prat. I'm giving it a 16 because of that. It's getting dragged down to a 16.
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick description of Gabiru. He is a lizard man, and his whole deal is that he's a complete dumbass that thinks he's smart, and he does really stupid shit because of it. Like I won't spoil what he does, but they were about to go fight a very strong enemy, and he made a very stupid choice that almost made them lose. And since that point, I just thought he was such a useless character. But he keeps popping up, and I can't stand him. But yeah, that's what I'd give it. What'd it come out to?
It came out to 64. So
64, wow. I think, with everything with what we have in the other tiers, I think that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
So I thought it didn't come out to a C. I'm surprised, but D's fine.
All right. Next one, Hell's Paradise.
This one, spoiler alert to everybody. I think this one will end B tier if I have to guess, because this one's pretty good.
This is a really freaking good one, dude.
It's a pretty good anime.
Do you want to give a rundown of the story?
Oh, I'm trying to remember because the season 1 came out like what, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year and a quarter.
Okay, so forgot the main character's name. I can't remember his name.
I don't even know. I just know he's a badass. So,
the main character is employed as an assassin, and he gets caught by I don't know if he's like an international assassin, so he's going to different countries assassinating people, who knows. But he's an assassin, he gets caught, and he is put into jail. And he is being ready to get executed, and he's kind of accepted to be executed because I'm pretty sure his wife, or like the woman he loved, was killed. So he's like, meh, fuck it, I don't want to live anymore. And I'm pretty sure they go to execute him, but they did not have a blade strong enough to kill him. That happened, right? Because I can't fully remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like, they went to cut his head off, but like his neck was just too strong to where the blade couldn't cut through it, I think. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
something like that.
So he gets now that I think about it, Hell's Paradise is basically the Suicide Squad, if you think about it. So by the government, he gets offered an opportunity to where he goes on this mission, and if he comes back alive and he fulfills his duty, I can't remember if they're let out for, like, if they're set free or they have reduced sentences, but either way, I think he gets out of jail if he does this mission and comes back alive. So he accepts it. The mission is to go onto this island and investigate it, where like nobody's ever come back alive. So that's why I compare it to the Suicide Squad, where if you go on this mission, there's a 99.9% chance that you die. So that's why it's like the Suicide Squad in that way. He goes on the island, and we'll end it there for people who want to watch, because that's like the first, I think, 2-episode rundown of the show, so it's not really getting into spoilers too hard. But he goes onto the island and shit gets whacked. We'll end it there. We'll end the description there.
I like how you ended the description. You go, spoil or anything. And we have like certain animes on here that where we just spoil like fucking everything.
But at the same time, that one's a newer one. I mean, we've said it earlier, like spoiling Dragon Ball, everybody's seen Dragon Ball. Spoiling Naruto, everybody's seen Naruto. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Anyway. So my thoughts, trying to remember the show. My thoughts. The story was actually, for only having one season, they told a pretty good story so far. I am excited to see where it goes. And I'm hoping season 2 comes out soon because they've had quite a bit of time.
The ending's crazy for the first season.
Yes, it is.
It's crazy.
Was it story? I think personally, I would give it maybe like a 20 or a 21.
I was thinking 20.
I'm fine with 20.
We'll go 20. Animation.
It has its own style. Like it's not. The way it's drawn is different from others, and I personally like it. Mm-hmm. I like how it's drawn. I critique Naruto for having its unique animation style. But I didn't like how it was done. I like how this was done. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I think animation, it's not as good as others, just because I don't know who animated it, but I don't think it would have been a big studio like Demon Slayer or like JJK behind it. It might have been, but I don't know. But animation, I think I would also give it another 20. Maybe like a 22.
We'll go 21. Fighting.
I'm trying to remember how much they actually fight in it and what my thoughts are on it.
They fight quite a bit. I would say it's like the Game of Thrones. Because they be killing off a lot of like good characters for no fucking reason.
This is one that I wish I could just rewatch real quick before doing this, because I know I would have more thoughts on it, but it's been over a year since I've seen it, so I can't remember everything.
I kind of remember it.
You handle fighting, because I can't remember it entirely.
I'm going to give the fighting like a 22 or 23. 22 or 23. Give it a 23. I really liked it. Characters, dude.
That's
this gotta be like 20. It has. All of the characters are phenomenal. There's not one bad character.
Even the villains. I thought I thought the antagonists were pretty good. I like them.
Yeah. I love the villains in this freaking anime. So we're gonna go 24.
I bet it comes out to 86. But season 2, I hope season 2 comes soon, because I was a huge fan of season 1, even though I can't remember most of it. But it's been a year. Give me a pass.
It's been a year and like a couple months. Because I remember it came out. Well, I didn't watch it until July.
No, I'm pretty sure we watched it later. So I'm pretty sure it was fully out when you and me watched it.
I was watching it like bi-weekly episodes.
Well, you were watching it weekly. I think I binged it.
That's right. I probably would have watched it before you then. But came out to 88, so got a B. High B.
Almost an A tier.
All right, this one's all you because I don't know what the fuck this is. Jobless reincarnation.
Ooh. Jobless reincarnation. If you ask me, this is slime, but better. And the reason that I think this is better is that the main character is also very relatable. So, it's another isekai where main character dies in his old world and gets put into the new one. Do a quick rundown on it. The reason it's called Jobless Reincarnation, it starts out... the first scene that you see in this anime is this old fat guy laying in his bed, looking at a TV, literally jerking off. That's the first thing. That's the first thing you see in this anime.
Relatable.
That's the first thing you see, and then I think, was it revealed at that point? People come by in suits and they take him out of his, like, drag him out of the room and throw him out of the house. So then he gets thrown out of the house and he's wandering around. He's like, oh, what the fuck am I gonna do now? And he's literally walking the streets and he sees this girl in the middle of the street, not checking both ways before she crosses the street, about to be hit by a truck. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something with my life. I'm gonna save hers. He pushes her out of the street and he gets run over and he dies. And then he gets teleported to the new world, and he still has his full like mind and everything. He still remembers everything that he remembers. But again, another one of the first things you see when he gets to the new world is he's looking at a huge set of honkers, and he's like, what the fuck are these? Then he like puts his hand up in front of his face and he's like, what the fuck? He gets reborn as a baby, but he still has his memories and he still has his intelligence. And that is how it starts. That is the start to jobless reincarnation. Benny, I'm telling you, I think you would like it.
I gotta watch this, bro. I gotta watch this,
Benny,
bro.
I think you would like it.
Dude, I gotta watch
I know Ethan would like it because I'm pretty sure he's into muscle mommies, and there is the muscle of all muscle mommies in this.
Damn.
But anyway, that is the basic rundown, and that's like the first half of the first episode in a rundown. And from what I understand, throughout the entirety of the show, it's literally starts as him as a baby, and then you see him like when he's like 90 or something. That'll probably be like season 5, which they just finished season 2, I think. Yeah, they just finished season 2 as of recording this. Anyway, going on to the main points. Story. I really like the story. The story is done extremely well. This is where I think it does Slime but better, where Slime's story is kind of basic. This one actually does things that surprise me, and they take points where I think that where I didn't expect it to go. Like I wouldn't expect it to actually go as far as they do. So story, I think I would give it a 20.
Damn.
That's pretty good. Animation. Its animation is good. I'm trying to think if there's anything that stands out to me. Nothing truly stands out, so I can't give it higher than like a 21. The highest I could go is 20, but I think an 18 would be better.
Okay, I was like, Jesus, you're freaking giving it.
I think 18 would be fair for that.
Okay, 18 fighting.
Its fighting is. I'm trying to think how often they fight. They fight quite a bit. They don't fight all that much. The fighting is a lot of tactical thinking and a lot less. Because the main character's name is Rudius, because that's what he's named in the New World. Because he has all the knowledge of his, like, our world, like our scientific world, and he applies that to his magic. Because he's a spellcaster, he applies it to his magic, and he applies it in ways that I really like because he's very tactical with how he fights. He's not going to be sitting there doing big clashes like it's fucking Dragon Ball. He likes to do things very efficiently, and he wants to like basically get things done in 2 moves. But then again, the fighting is not as strong as others. I think I would give it a 19. But I do like how the main character fights.
Characters.
Rudius goes through multiple character arcs, which unheard of for an isekai, because isekais are supposed to be just character dies old world, comes to new world, he's overpowered, gets a harem, and then he just becomes fucking god. In this one, he literally starts as a baby, so you get to see him grow as a person. And like I said, he's just a very relatable guy. Kinda. He's kinda your average guy. His old
Go to your
life,
mom's funeral, jerk off.
that his old life, he has a. This is where I have my one problem with his character. The reason why he becomes a shut-in, if you ask me, he's kind of bitch made for becoming a shut-in for it. I would feel very sad if this happened to me. Like, I would be down in the dumps, but I would not let it ruin my life over it. So I'll say that. But the characters overall is very good. I think I would give the characters a 22.
I think I have a high rating, bro.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's good. I know you would like it.
I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure, bro.
I know you'll like it.
Oh, let me redo that.
Did it come out to something like bad? No way, it's a D tier. I think if it came out to C, what did it come out as?
79.
I'm fine with that.
It's just funny because it's like right there at a B, but it's not.
It's unfortunate, but it's a C tier. But I think it's good. If so long as it's one tier above that time I became a slime, I'm fine with that because it is slime but better.
I think it's quite a bit higher than the slime one. Because the
That's
slime
fine.
one's in the D's. I'm pretty sure. I think I got like a 60.
It's like low D's.
It
got that one. No, 68 was Vinland Saga. 64 was slime. Okay, that handles Jobless Reincarnation. Benny, what's our next one?
The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Oh boy. I think, in short summary, I think what you said about Vinland Saga, I think this one will be applied to this too. Because
because I've seen the first season, and I've seen...
We saw half of season 2.
Yeah.
So, oh my god, Spirit Tortoise. We'll get to season 2. We'll talk about season 1 first. I think season 1 overall, I really enjoyed season 1.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to just give it a percentage right now off of season 1 and not even consider season 2, I think I would give it season 1 either like an 80 to a 90, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe I'd probably give it like an 84.
Yep.
Because it was really good. Now, season 2 goes the opposite end of the spectrum, and it is, if you ask me, fucking unbearably boring dog shit. You remember, this is story time for the viewers here. Was it my birthday we were all hanging out, or was it just some random weekend? I think it was just some random weekend.
I think it was a random weekend, yeah.
It was just a random weekend. We were at the old house that I used to live at, and I had Benny here, and we had a bunch of our friends over. Got Wingstop. We played. I forgot the name of the board game, but we had like this old Pokemon board game that we played. And then we were gonna watch season 2 of Shield Hero, because I'm pretty sure season 2 finished, and we were gonna like try and like basically just watch it like in one night, in one sitting. Like that was our night planned out. Was it? I think we started season 2 pretty late. It probably started watching at like 10 at night, and then we got about four episodes deep. No, they killed Spirit Tortoise. Is how far we made it. And I kid you not, it was probably only 12. And at that point, we were on average staying up till like 2 a.m, just about every night, all of us.
Yeah.
So we were night owls. We were used to staying up late, like early into the mornings. And we got about halfway through the Spirit Tortoise arc, and I think all of us half of us were bored and the other half of us were asleep because of how boring it was. Spirit Tortoise was fucking unbearable. I couldn't finish it. I thought it was actually just horrible to watch. What are your thoughts? So you were there.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep. But
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep too.
I watched a lot of it at my house on my own time, and I think it was super boring. But season 1, absolutely phenomenal. If you're ever gonna watch it, just watch season 1. I'm pretty sure that they're. I don't know if it's done, but I think there should be a season 3.
I'm pretty sure season 3's done, and I think one day I'm gonna force myself to slog through season 2, just so I can see if season 3 is good. Because I really hope they brought it back with season 3.
That's what I had to do with freaking Vinland Saga, dude. Like, because I stopped watching. I got halfway done. I just stopped watching. This is so boring. And then not too long ago, I would say it's probably like a month ago, I just sat down and forced myself to watch the rest of season 2. Just to clarify that it was stupid and boring, and I was right. It was stupid and boring. But yeah, let's just rate this thing real quick, so we just get on to the next one.
Okay. Story. Fuck it. Again, we're just
because like the first season's good, but it's like.
Okay, I think how we'll do this, we'll do an overall, and then we'll do a season 1 score. I think season 1 score story, you got to give it like a 22. If you ask me.
Okay.
But now, overall score, this is the legit score. If you ask me the overall score for story, Spirit Tortoise is such a stupid fucking arc that it drags it down to a 14. I hate it that much.
Because you have to mean the average, because that's what I had to do with Vinland Saga. Because season 1 was so good, but then you get to season 2, it's so bad that it's just like you just got to meet right there in the middle. 15 or 15.
Spirit Tortoise was so boring. Animation, it's mediocre. I don't think it's that good compared to other shit.
I think it's I'd give it like 17.
I think that's fine. The fighting.
17.
The fighting between, even in season 2, the fighting hasn't really degraded. It's just the story that really degrades. But the fighting in season 1 was pretty good at points. In season 2, I remember the only fight I think I actually saw was him versus the book guy, and that one was very meh. So I think overall fighting, I would maybe give it a 16. If it was season 1, I would probably give it a 19, but altogether I'd give it a 16, me personally.
So you want to give season 1 19?
Season 1, I would give 19, but overall I would give it 16.
Okay, then characters, dude. I think characters is probably one of its stronger suits.
And it's going to be its strongest suit, because with everything that happens to him and him growing as a person, I don't know how he grows as a person, like how he's basically able to become a normal human being again after what happens to him. He is the biggest man for that, with how he handles everything that happens to him. And the other characters, like his main party, there's one character in the main party that I fucking can't stand, and it's the fucking chicken. I hate that thing.
Oh, I totally forgot about the chicken thing, dude.
I that thing.
Forgot about that. I just remember my poop.
Dude, the fucking chicken. I hate that thing. Give the characters a fucking 19. Call it good. Let's add it up. Put this fucking stinker on the board. I bet it comes out to either.
Well, I gotta do 2 different calculations here real quick.
I bet overall it comes out to a D, but I bet season 1 comes out to like a C or a B.
So you just go based off of season 1. They got 77%. Overall, though, Hold on. Got 66% overall.
I think that is a perfect score for it overall from what we've seen so far.
And
I at some point I'll force myself to watch the rest of season 2, but it's just so hard. After watching Spirit Tortoise, that shit was awful.
All right.
What's the next one?
You're going to be talking a lot here again because I don't know what this is. So it just says 86.
86. Imagine in an alternate universe. It's pretty futuristic tech. Humanity gets into a war with a neighboring nation, and the neighboring nation creates an AI that the AI makes robots and sends it out to fight for the neighboring for the other nation. And then that AI, it basically goes rogue and does a Skynet, and it kills its original creators, and it starts fighting for itself, and it just wants to kill everything it sees. That's the enemy they're fighting. 86 is the main. There's two different main characters. The reason it's called 86 because it is the main country. I can't remember the name of it. The main country is broken into 86 districts, and if everybody from the 86th district, they were classified as non-humans when the war broke out, because in the capital, where the majority of people live, in the capital, they say that the war they're fighting with drones, so no humans have died during the war, when in reality they're forcing the 86 to basically be like warrior slaves in like these mechs. It's a mech anime fighting show. That's 86. The main character, I forgot the main character's name. I forgot both of their names. They call her, there is a captain in like the military in the capital. She knows the truth. Everyone in the military really knows the truth, but they just turn a blind eye because they either hate the 86 because they bought into the idea of them not being humans, and they call them pigs. I don't know why, but it follows her, and she actually cares about the 86, and she takes over an elite unit called Spearhead. And the leader of Spearhead, his call sign is I think it's Reaper or the Reaper. I can't remember which, but I'm pretty sure she just calls him Reaper. And it's about her taking over Spearhead because the old commander actually died from leading his troops. Like this, I can't remember exactly why, but he basically died of stress because they have this link thing to where you're like nervous, like it taps in the back of your head. Your nervous system is linked to the pilots who are out there, so you can see and like lead them more efficiently. You link to them, and the leader Reaper was going so hard that it literally stressed out the dude's brain, and he died. He died because the leader was just that good at being a pilot. So then he dies, and then I'm pretty sure she volunteers to become the leader of Spearhead because Spearhead is also the Suicide Squad, where they get sent on the most dangerous missions that have to be done. They are the elite units. And that is the basic synopsis of it. That's the basic synopsis of 86. Oh,
I told you this was gonna happen.
Hello?
We got a guest for the podcast.
Special guest here, guys.
Oh, are you guys doing pod? My bad.
No, you're good.
Dude, I've had some beers. I'm cooked.
If you want, you can stay and listen
can stay
in.
in here.
I can mute myself if you need me to.
We're gonna get to one that we don't care about, and we're gonna pitch the anime to you, and then you just put it somewhere on a grading scale. We'll go over it later.
Could
Anyway.
we have Ethan?
I look
Here,
bad, dude, because I ruined the podcast.
Anyway,
No,
Ethan, you know what? Let's have him rate this one.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, no. We're not having Ethan rate this. Colton,
Okay.
you rate this, because if we're gonna let Ethan rate this, then I should be rating all of these, because I'm more experienced with all this stuff than Ethan. Ethan's
You
just
are.
gonna give shit ratings.
I'm gonna give shit ratings. Pretend I'm not here. Keep doing your thing.
Anyway, we'll get to the 4 points right now. Oh yeah, and everybody, all the viewers who haven't seen if they haven't seen other videos, this is Ethan. He is the third member of CBI.
Hello, I'm currently tipsy. I have beers in me, so I'm cooked.
Oh, you're good, brother. Anyway, let's get to the 4 points. So, story. The story and the characters are where it shines. We're giving really high scores to stuff, but we just have a lot of good anime on this list, if you ask me. I think I would give the story a 20. The story's pretty good.
Okay.
This is another one I think you'd like, Benny.
Okay.
Animation. When they're not in the mechs, when they're in mechs versus out of mechs, it has like almost two different animation styles, and to me it's kind of distracting because they'll go from like your typical like hand-drawn animation, and then once they get into the mechs, I don't know, have you ever noticed like when they go to like different scenes, it almost looks like it's video game character models? Have you ever seen that before, Benny?
Yeah,
That's what
talking about.
It doesn't look bad, it just distracts me because it goes to something different. I think I would still take points off of it. I think I would give it an 18 for animation. So it just distracts me when they kind of switch the style.
Ethan, make sure your phone's muted.
I muted myself.
And then fighting.
Let's go over fighting. Yep.
The mech combat is pretty good. It takes a lot. It's hard to say it takes a lot of inspiration from Code Geass. No, it doesn't. Whereas Code Geass, it's a lot more tactical fighting. This one is kind of... The bots, their whole strategy is that... Imagine we were playing Space Marine, and a swarm of Tyranids is coming at us. That's how the bots fight, is they want to outnumber you and outgun you. And they basically... It's basically like they're playing like a survival... horde game. The fighting overall isn't bad. I think I would give it a 19 because it's definitely above average.
Characters?
This is, like I said, story. I think these are the two strongest points, if you ask me, because we didn't put it in here, but it has the same feel as what's it called? Akame ga Kill. That's another pretty popular anime. That one's completely finished. I don't know if 86 is completely finished or not. But Akame ga Kill is completely finished, and it has a very similar feel. And the characters in that are also very good. But it is not afraid to have legitimate character deaths. It's not afraid to like be willing to explore like how death affects people. It actually does it pretty well. I think I would give the characters a 22.
All right. Let's do the calculation.
And what is it? The captain of Spirit, or the commander of Spearhead, the girl, she goes through a character arc, as does the captain of Spearhead. They both go through a pretty compelling character arc. And they're similar, but at the same time not. It's pretty compelling. What do we get?
It came out to a 79%, so really high.
I'm surprised. I thought it'd be a B tier. But you know what? Fine with it. So I think of the stuff that we haven't beat, I don't think it would compare as well to those. What's our next one?
again, you're gonna be talking the whole time because I don't fucking I don't know anything about it. Fairy Tale.
Oh boy.
Okay, here we go, chat.
Ethan, I need you for this one.
What's up? What you got?
So, how we're gonna do this one, because spoiler alert, this anime, if you ask me, it is automatically a fucking F tier, even thinking about
Alright.
it. But
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe, so the way we're doing this, Ethan, is there are 4 points. We base it off of the story, the animation, the fighting, and the characters, and you give them out of 25. Out of 25 points, adding up to 100, and we're doing it off the American grading system. So, like, if you get like the last one just got a 79, so it's a C, right? Just like how our grading system works. I am going to describe those 4 points to you, and you're going to give a percentage, because that's how little I think of this anime. And let me start with my opening thoughts. Fairy Tale, if you watch it and you legitimately like it, everybody likes what they like. And don't say I didn't give it a fair shot, because I've watched over half of it. It is,
Okay, that's
if you ask
fair.
me,
If you've seen over half of it, then
it
that's
is
fair.
fucking garbage. And I have seen all the discourse online being like, "Oh, you gotta get to the later parts where the fights actually get really good." I didn't watch those points, but I looked up on YouTube and I watched the whole fights. They are the most mediocre ass shit I have ever seen. I legit would rather watch a Bleach fight than watch a Fairy Tale fight.
Watch Chainsaw Man. That's a good one. That's the first one I ever watched.
We already did that. You're late to the party. You're tardy to the party. We're not talking about Chainsaw Man. But anyway.
Well, that's
you're
the only anime I've really watched, so it's good.
And you're gonna watch more. That's gonna be a YouTube series later. Anyway.
Okay, alright, I'm down.
So, I'm going to describe the 4 points. Story.
Alright.
The story of Fairy Tale. It starts off with one of the main characters. Her name is Lucy Heartfilia. In this world, they use magic as their main like power source. Her deal is that she likes to summon spirits. That's her magic. Her whole deal is that she wants to go join the biggest guild there is in the kingdom, called Fairy Tale. And she goes looking. She can't really find them at first, and then she does some bullshit. She becomes a member of Fairy Tale. I'm trying to remember the first. Oh yeah, the very first arc of the story. And I'm going to spoil the whole. Actually, no, we're going to give a very big overview, because that's how little I think people should watch this. Spoiler warning: if you want to watch Fairy Tale in the future, I'm going to spoil the whole fucking thing, because I know what happens, because I looked up what happened just so I could dog on it.
Alright.
So, this starts with an evil wizard named Jalal. This is the first big plot point. He fakes that he has a twin brother on the Magic Council. There's a Magic Council that oversees all the guilds. He fakes that he has a twin brother on there so he could get access to this big huge weapon that's able, they said, to destroy fucking countries. And they say oh, every member on the council has to, or the council has to agree to fire it. And they're they've only fired it twice ever. That's how deadly this weapon is. He makes a fucking shadow clone of himself so he can be in 2 places at once, and he can be on the council. And he fakes being on the council just so he can get his hand. It's called the Ethereon Blast. And with very little convincing, he goes, "Guys, whatever my evil twin brother's doing right now, we can't let that happen. Fire the fucking world-ending nuke." And all the council members I don't think we should. And then he's like, "Guys, I think we should do it." And they're like, "Okay, I guess we'll do it," without even really considering what it truly means. It takes very little convincing for them to be like, "Okay." And then they fire it, and then Natsu beats the main wizard, and then he gets caught, and then he gets sent to jail. That's the end of the first arc. On to the next big one. They get into a fight with another guild. That's the whole story. There's no real big plot points other than they get in a fight with another guild. That's the second big story arc. The third big one is they get into a fight with another guild. But this guild's evil. That's the big difference on this one. This one's evil. And then this was the one point where I thought they actually did something unique and different. They get sent to a different dimension where magic doesn't exist, and they have to figure out how to survive without magic. That is the one unique thing I think they've done that I saw. And I was like, oh wow, I'm surprised that they actually did that. Good on them. But then they take a fucking pill that gives them their magic back. How and why it gives them their magic back, I don't know. But then they defeat the evil king of that place, and then they go back. And then, unsurprisingly, they have to fight another evil guild. So that's the next big story arc. And then they beat the evil guild, unsurprisingly. And then after that, you won't believe this. They have to fight another evil guild. And I'm not joking. This is how it goes so far. But the biggest difference on this is when the time skip comes in, because at the end of this fight with another evil guild, a huge fucking dragon shows up and just one shots basically every character. Like, they can't put a dent in this thing. And then they hold hands, they create a force field, and then they get put to sleep for 7 years for some reason. I don't know why. And then when they come back, they're like, why the fuck? Like, what the fuck going on? Why were we asleep for 7 years? And it's just like a story of them being caught up for like 7 years after that. And that's like that's the next big story arc. And then after that, they have to go into a tournament. And be in mind, they were asleep for 7 butt fucking years. They have not trained. They've done nothing but sleep. They come back and they instantly win the tournament. First try.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Everybody else has been training for 7 years. They should be way fucking stronger than them. Yeah, because they're 7 years behind. But they do some. There's this one chick that has like time control magic, so like she ages them by 7 years or something.
Oh my, that's cheating.
Yes, it is cheating. And then I think that was the last big arc that I had stopped watching because they won that, and I was like, okay, that's fucking stupid. And then this is the point where I've like Googled it. So then after they win the tournament, it's revealed that the main character is actually a demon created by his brother because the original Natsu died 300 years ago, and he's actually a demon created by his evil brother. And then it's just them trying to kill fucking his brother. And they say it's different. It's not, because every other arc was just them fighting an evil guild, just because. Like, it's literally just them being sent on a mission to beat the guild. The final big arc, is them being sent to defeat the evil kingdom. That's the difference this time. They're being sent to defeat the evil kingdom instead of the guild. So, that's the difference there. They beat them. They save the day. Nobody dies because they hate killing characters for some reason. And that's the story of Fairy Tail. Ethan, what do you give it out of 25?
Like the whole thing, like what you just told me?
Overall, what do you give the story out of 25?
Like, to be real, like the whole like tournament thing really like ruined it. Not gonna lie. So I'll probably give it like I'll be completely honest. It just sounds boring. Like, just you telling me about it just sounds really boring.
It's such a fucking drag.
Like an 8 out of like 25. I'm gonna be real. Like this. Like,
you're nicer than I would give it a legitimate 5, because it is literally just the thing that gets me is when they get sent to defeat an evil guild. Okay, we did that. What are we gonna do for the next arc? We're gonna do the same thing, but 5 different times.
Yeah, that's just.
It's just so lazy.
Yeah, it's really
anyway, on to the next. What's the next category? Animation.
Animation.
I can't give that one to you, Ethan. You haven't seen it. Animation. It's It's mediocre. It's from like 2010. Give it like a 14. Give it an average rating. Move on.
Fighting.
Oh my god. So let me describe the fighting to you, Ethan.
Okay.
So we'll start with the main character, Natsu. His magic is actually pretty cool.
Okay.
He uses Dragon Slayer magic, where his father was a dragon. He was raised by an actual like fire dragon, and he was taught how to use fire magic from a dragon. So his like fire power is supposed to be equal to that of like a fire dragon. Oh yeah, and his father's the king of fire dragons. Forgot to mention that. And he's a demon, by the way. But
Oh.
so he's very much a chosen one character, which I'm not always a huge fan of that.
Makes
But
sense.
the fighting in this, it typically goes like this. He fights the main villain, then he loses, then he somehow survives the fight. Like the main villains never kill him, unsurprisingly. The main villains, always loses the fight the first time. He will always lose the fight the first time, no matter what. If it's against the main villain, he loses, and then he comes up with a different kind of attack to where like it actually works on the main villain, and then he wins. That's what happens with every big fight with the main character. What would you give that out of 25?
I don't know.
And it's that, but copy and pasted.
Oh, copy and pasted. I
Every
give that like
main fight, he loses the first time, and then the second time he ends up winning.
that's just so boring. Like,
I think there's a few fights where he loses like I think there's a few fights where he loses like 2 or 3 times, and then he finally wins.
And then but he's always wins at the end. So it's like it should be expected. So then low key, I'd probably give it like a 7 or a 6. Or probably, you know what? Final answer, 6.
Respectable answer. I like that.
Just sounds boring. Just sounds so boring.
It's Fairy Tales was a fucking drag to watch
I was gonna say
because
it just sounds like a drag.
I read online like people kept telling me like, oh, if you just get to here it'll be good, and I'm like, okay, I waited through One Piece to get to like the really good parts. It'll probably happen. It never happened. It never will happen. It is actual like just dog shit. Anyway, characters, is that the last one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, characters was the only thing like actually driving for me. Because legitimately, the only thing that I could actually say I liked was the characters. Because it has some moments that I actually find funny. It tries a little too hard on comedy in points, because it's trying very hard to be a comedy. But there are some points where I like actually had a few laughs. Characters I can't really hand to you, Ethan, because you don't really like know any of them. I don't know how to describe them without going through all of them.
No, you're good.
The characters are a little.
I do not watch anime, so that is like the reason why.
He will though, because we're gonna have a YouTube series of him trying anime.
I will. Yes.
Anyway, give the characters a 14 to move on. They're average. Give this show an F tier, and let's move on.
All right, let's do the math.
I legitimately hope it comes out to below 40. I despise Fairy Tail, and if you like it, you're allowed to like what you like, but I hate it. If you're able to sit through it and bear it, you're a stronger man than I. What'd it come out to, Benny?
Came out to 42.
Oh god, got above 40.
F tier.
F tier. It's worse than Bleach. I'd rather watch Bleach. Anyway,
All right,
what's next?
move on to the next one. 7 Deadly Sins.
Ooh.
I actually really love this anime, dude.
I've heard.
So
of that anime.
you've completely finished it. I've watched most of it. I don't think I've finished the last 6 episodes, but you've completely finished it. So you start us off.
I do not want to really talk about the depth now, because we'd be sitting here for a while, I feel like. How do I explain this? Basically, the spark notes of this is you have a band of people. They call themselves the Seven Deadly Sins, and they are all kind of an interesting group of people. Each character is very unique and very different in a sense. Obviously there's 7 of them, and then the main character, he. Should I spoil stuff or no?
It's been out for a while.
Okay. Smiliotis, he looks like a child basically, but he's like low key like 5. He's the son of the Demon King, and you don't find that out until way later. And he's got a busted ability to where like you throw like some magic his way, he just instantly full counters the thing, and it just goes back on you, but it's like time a certain like number, so it does even more damage to you. And then he's basically Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is the daughter. I don't know if she's a daughter or if she's just straight up like one of the 4 like angels or whatever.
She's just a normal angel.
Yeah, she's like one of the main angels basically, and the angels are like the opposite of the demons. Yeah, they're goddesses and gods.
Even though there are dudes in it, but they're called the Gods clan. That's weird.
Yeah, and they're like the rivals of the demon race, and then you have they kind of just like the punching bags, and everyone thinks that they're like, and turns out they're not. They're actually like some of the best people out there, and then they kind of again, and then they prove good, and then I'll explain this. And then there's 10 commandments, and they're like some of the big bads of this universe, and they get sent by the Demon King to go up there and wreak havoc, and they're kind of like on power level, if not stronger than the 7 deadly sins state from what they used to be in. And then, you know, they end up winning and dogging on them at some point. And then the last season, the Demon King himself comes up, and he wants Meliodas place. I'm pretty sure, but Meliodas doesn't want it because he's in love with Elizabeth, which is one of the main angels or goddesses, whatever you want to call them. And then a bunch of crazy shit happens, and then they defeat the Demon King. That's kind of like the spark notes, and that, like I said, that is the crack views version of what. There is so much more that happens.
Now let's rate the story and get moving. I'm pretty sure we still have some more to get through.
We're almost done, to be honest with you, because this is number 22 out of 25.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're almost done. And then the next one, I'm not even gonna be talking on. It's all you get. So.
All right, story. What do you give it?
Let's go on the story, bro. I would honestly say this is the Game of Thrones start, like in the sense. No, listen, hear me out. It starts out extremely good, and then as you get through the seasons, it gets a little bit worse and worse. Like Game of Thrones, except with Game of Thrones, it starts out really good, then you get to like season 4, and then after season 4, it gets a little worse and I think it's dog shit because the last season's ass. The last season in 7 Deadly Sins is not the best though, but it's still like, you know, watchable. Story, I would give it 18 in my opinion.
I haven't finished it. I've seen most of it. I think where it really dips is the fighting, because the fighting in the earlier seasons isn't amazing. It's at best decent, but it's usually a little bit above average in the fighting, if you ask me. But when you get to the later seasons, especially the Meliodas and the Escanor fight, I didn't like that fight.
Why?
And it does the very typical deal of, we're going to throw out a few attacks, bluster at each other, and then we're going to continue the fight. I'm not a huge fan of that.
I don't understand what you're saying. They blustered at each other.
They sit there like what was it? He hits Meliodas once, like sends him flying around the cube, and then Escanor's sitting there. It's just who Escanor is. He's sitting there, sends him flying, and he's like, "Oh, I bet you understand now that I am the strongest." And then Meliodas just sits there like, "You're a human. I don't give a shit. I'm on my demon time arc." And then he hits him, and then he hits him, and then they talk to each other for a second, and then they go back to fighting. Then they hit each other, and then they go back to talking. And then they hit each other, and they go back to talking. I didn't really like that fight, and especially with how it ended, I thought the reveal of the one was actually very lackluster, because he was kind of just losing the fight, and then out of nowhere he's like, "It's high noon. I win. McCree ult. You lose." I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Okay, audience, this is where I'm gonna step in. I completely disagree with everything he's saying. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I disagree with everything he just said. First of all, when he says they like talk and fight, when I imagine that, I think of Naruto. Because when Naruto does it, or when animes like that do it, it goes on for episodes, hence like One Piece. Okay, you're literally watching the same thing for literally an hour. Compared to this, they get it done in probably like 10 minutes. So it's not even that bad. And the animation is still really good. And then when they do talk, they explain everything that happens. Because it's not just like dick it around. There's reasoning for what's happening. Because I'm pretty sure Meliodas was going batshit crazy. Because he was actually like state. And to put it in perspective, Meliodas is like the strongest thing in this universe besides Escanor, which is one of the other sins. And Escanor is the only thing that can literally, the only thing. But Escanor can only stop him if it's at the hottest point during the day. Hence, when they time the fight, so that way during the fight, it becomes at the hottest time during the day. And he has, I think, like 1 minute to put Meliodas in the fucking dirt. And he can do it in 1 minute. That's how strong Escanor is. And his character, that whole character too, Escanor, carries the show. Well, doesn't carry the show, but he's probably one of the top 3 best anime characters in my opinion. I freaking love this character. And so anytime he's on screen, everyone just goes crazy. So just the fact that it's him versus Meliodas is really good. So there's reasons why all this stuff is happening. It's not just as face value as Colton is putting it. I'm just saying.
Here's my counter argument. Because I know this show knows how to do very good fights. Because when the 10 Commandments first show up and it's all the other sins and everybody else has to be sent off to their safety, and it's Meliodas by himself fighting that is a very well done fight. Yeah. It is balls to the walls action, and is, what's the word? The only time it truly slows down is until right at the end, and that is such a significant and hard-hitting moment that I am fine with it. And I think it's very thematically appropriate that they're slowing down. Whereas in certain fights, where they kind of slow down just so they can have some exposition, I'm not the biggest fan of. Whereas in that, it was thematically appropriate because they hit the crescendo, and then Meliodas literally hits the wall, so like the fight just like dead stops. Even like the music, I'm pretty sure just goes dead quiet. So I think right there, that is where they do it really well. And I'm saying in that fight, I don't think they executed as well.
Meliodas versus Escanor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because Meliodas in every other fight is actually Meliodas. In this fight, he's not Meliodas. He's literally like demon. Like, so he's like not even in his right mind, from what I remember. That's why what's her name? Merlin. By the way, his character named Merlin. She's like the strongest, like, basically. And she can create this thing called a perfect cube that I'm pretty sure even Meliodas can break. So she traps him and Escanor in the cube. That's what I remember. And then it's not like big, so they don't have that much room. So they're just duking it out in a specific time. Escanor's, yeah, you're kind of light work, kind of egging them on, trying to piss them off, and then everything else I talked about happens. It's not supposed to be like this massive big fight or anything crazy. It's just kind of like, oh shit, Meliodas is going kind of crazy, and let's just kind of trap him in here with this other mob and see what happens.
Which is where I think they blundered, because those two fighting should be such a huge, significant fight that should have gotten more, and that's where I think they blundered, because
I still disagree.
It wasn't as significant as when he fought the Ten Commandments. Even it wasn't as good of a fight, if you ask me. Whereas like those two fighting should be on like the same level, because those are like the two strongest of the main cast.
See, I see what you're trying to say. Like, I do see what you're saying. The problem is, like I said, when Meliodas fights the commandments, he's Meliodas. When Meliodas fights Escanor, he's not Meliodas. So Meliodas is not in his right mind in the same state. So Escanor is and Escanor's job isn't to kill Meliodas. For instance, when Escanor fights one of Meliodas, I can't remember. It's the Giga Chad hot, not the other small one. He literally comes into the freaking kingdom and no one can move because everyone's so scared of him. Escanor literally walks straight up to him. He's the only person that can move. Walks straight up to him and he goes, "Why would I literally be scared of someone that's clearly weaker than me?" And hits him straight into the air with an axe. And he just goes. Escanor's not going all out on him because he doesn't want to literally kill him. And all he's doing is trying to get to the peak time so that way he can just knock him out real quick in one blow or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure and then get him back to where he just fucking pass out, wake back up, or have Elizabeth do whatever the fuck she has to do to him, and then get him back to where he's going. So I see why the writers or the manga or however it's written aren't going to have this big dramatic, like, oh my god, two Goliaths are going to just completely... Now, if Meliodas had to kill Escanor and Escanor had to kill Meliodas, then yes, I would agree with you. But in the sense that they're trapping them in a cube that's indestructible, that can't be broken, and Escanor's not going to go all out on him and parry most of his shit and make sure it doesn't actually inflict too much damage to Meliodas, so that way Meliodas, when he wakes back up, they can go back out and fight the big bads, because if Meliodas is hurt, he's not going to be able to fight the big bads. So I understand what you're trying to say, like you, but at the same time, it's not like they could technically do that.
I think you and me are kind of talking two different points, because you're talking about bringing the story into it as well, whereas I'm talking just the fight itself. You're talking about everything as a whole, whereas I'm talking just the fight. Okay. Like the category fighting. Because just as a fight as a whole, it is not that good.
Are we comparing it to other anime like fights, or just the fight from that series? Because if you compare it to like other animes, it's better than a lot of other animes. Like for instance, that fight alone is better than like 90% of Naruto. If you think about it.
I'm trying to think of 90% of Naruto fights.
Well, it's not that hard because one fight takes like 20 episodes. There's like 750 episodes because of that. And not to mention, over 80% of the fights don't even matter in Naruto. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could say it's mediocre, but is it mediocre in the general themes of anime fights? Season fights. So it's just mediocre for that season. It still has to get a higher rate just because it's better than like things like Naruto, which is mainstream, Bleach, which is mainstream, Fairy Tail, which is mainstream.
Is Fairy Tail mainstream?
It is. I promise you, Colton, it is. I cannot tell you how many girls I've worked with at Ulta where they watch Fairy Tail.
Anyway, I'm tired of talking about this. Give it a rating. Let's move on.
Do we ever rate the story?
No, we did not.
I'm gonna give the story 18.
Go for it.
Animation. Also 18. I'm gonna compare the fighting to other animes as well, because that's what we've been kind of doing this whole time. That's why like JJK and shit like that gets such a high rating. I'm just gonna give it an 18. Characters. I'm gonna give it to characters 19.
Good news. Autosonia lost.
So overall, 7 Deadly Sins got a 73%,
I'm fine with that.
which is a fair score, I think.
No, if you ask me,
Alright.
season 1 and 2, I would personally probably put that in the B category.
Oh yeah, but we gotta take into account everything.
I
Because
know.
if we were just to rate season 1 and 2, then it'd probably be high B. But then you add in the other seasons, it's like, okay.
Alright, what's our next one?
Alright. Solo Leveling.
Solo Leveling is set in a modern Asian country. I don't know where. I can't remember if they say what country it's set in. If I had to guess, it's probably Japan, but I don't know. And the main character's name is Jinwoo. Imagine Isekai but in reverse, where instead of going to their universe, the monsters and all of the problems come to our universe. So one day in this universe, out of nowhere, dungeons, like video game, like Elder Scrolls, like basically dungeons, come out of nowhere. And monsters that modern weaponry for some reason will not affect them. But when the dungeons appear, a certain percentage of the population, they basically gain magic and different like skills that you would see in like a video game. And you get your healers, you get your assassins, you get your mages, you get your warriors and whatnot, you get your sorcerers. Those, a certain percentage of the population, I think it's like only 1%, so there's not that many. They call them hunters. And there is a ranking system for hunters, starting from, what's the lowest? I think the lowest is F, all the way up to S, and S being the strongest, F being the lowest. Jinwoo, he is a hunter, but he is known as the weakest hunter because he is an F tier hunter. He is the lowest tier of hunter. And the story starts with him getting ready to go on, I think, just a normal like D tier raid where he's not really that useful. This is like supposed to be like one of the most like safest raids that you could go on, but he still isn't that good, so he kind of sucks in the dungeon. And then they get to a point in the dungeon where I think it ends, but a secret door opens, and the party decide to take a vote whether they should go down this new path or not. So it gets split 50-50, whereas half of the people are like, no, we should turn back. We finished it. We should turn back. And then the other half are like, well, we should continue. It's like, because we might get more money out of it. And then the final vote comes down to Jinwoo. And he votes to continue going in because I'm pretty sure he's strapped for cash. So he needs money. So he decides like, no, I need the money. We need to keep going. They go in there and they face a series of challenges where most of the party that gets in there is killed off. And at the end of the challenge, how best to describe this? At the end of the challenge, everyone escapes except for him. And right as he's about to be killed, he passes the final challenge and then he wakes up in the hospital and he doesn't know why. And I'll leave it right there. That is the first episode of Solo Leveling. Overall, my thoughts on it, of modern anime that came out, when was it? I think it came out last summer. I think it was last summer. Was it last? Yeah, it was last summer's anime catalog when it came out. There's a reason it was one of the most popular when it was coming out. It is unbelievably good. Benny, you would like it. You should watch it. I would probably put this at the top of your recommended list to watch. I think you would really like it. So, with that, let's move on to the categories.
Okay. Story.
Story. Honestly, it's story. It's kind of basic. It's just about him coming back from the dungeon and him just trying to become stronger. That's the story of season 1. Season 2 may have a little more going on. There's side plots behind what he's doing, kinda. Or there's side points to where like the story isn't important to it right now with the main character. But I feel like in season 2 and then when season 3 eventually comes, I think it will become very important. So I think it's setting up for a more important story. But as of right now, I can't give it anything higher than like a 16 because it's above average. It's better than most stories out there in anime.
Okay. Animation.
Done extremely well. Animation is done very well. Just because like it came out last year, so it's very modern. They put a lot of effort into it. I would give the animation a 22. Fighting. Also done extremely well. The main draw to it is the fighting, if you ask me. Jin Woo as a character is interesting, and the other characters are very interesting. I don't think it's as good as the fighting. I'd give the fighting the last fight of season 1 was just really good. Give it a 23.
Characters.
Jin Woo and the characters around him are good. The story focuses extremely hard on him, which I think is fine. But the side characters don't get as much time to show, which I kind of hope they do in the next season. Because I'm pretty sure the season 2 is supposed to start like this fall, which I'm looking forward to. So I think characters, I would give it probably a 20. Just because they don't really show the side characters and they don't give them really anything to do. If your name's not Jin Woo, you have nothing to do in the show, really.
Alright. Came out to 81%.
I think that's fair.
Alright, we're down to our last 2 animes here.
What's the next one?
Overlord.
Opening thoughts on Overlord. Well, I'll give synopsis. Overlord is a isekai, and a friend of ours named Rion, this is his favorite anime of all time. Fun fact.
This is Ryan's favorite anime. Okay.
At least it was last time me and him talked about it, which probably like over a year ago, last time I talked to him. But Overlord synopsis. It is another isekai. It is about, I forgot the guy's original name, but he is playing a game where the servers are about to shut down, and right as the servers shut down, he gets sucked into the video game world as his character. And his character is a lich. And it is set in a medieval, like, fantasy world. It's also very similar to Slime. It's better than Slime, that's for damn sure. And it's Slime, but a little bit darker. Whereas Jobless can be darker and have some darker, like, has a darker tone to it. This one also has a darker tone to it, but not. It's hard to say which one has a darker tone. They can both get kind of depressing at points. But yeah, the synopsis is he gets drawn into that world. He gets drawn as a lich, and it's just him basically just figuring out what to do next now that he's in the new world. I'll leave it at that. But let's go on to the points.
Story.
Story. The story is actually decent. It's definitely above average. It's pretty good at points. I think I'd give the story a 17. I don't have too much to say other than it's nothing super in depth like nothing super in depth like Code Geass or something like that, but it's still good.
Animation.
It's okay. It's nothing groundbreaking. The newer seasons are done better, unsurprisingly, because it was a newer animation. Overall, I'd give it a 17 as well. It's above average.
Fighting.
Fights. Was it? The main character, he names himself Eins und Gold. Eins has the stereotype of isekai where he is definitely stronger than all the people who are teleported, like him, and he has minions from his game. His minions and him are way stronger than everybody in that world. So the fighting's kind of unfair when it comes to him. Because there's very few people in that world, it seems like, that can actually challenge him, if anybody actually can. There was one fight where he said that under very specific circumstances that he thinks there is somebody who could kill him. So the fighting, if you ask me, it's not super in depth as others. It's definitely flashy. The fighting is definitely flashy, especially one scene in season 2. It's hard to rate because the fighting's entertaining, but it's not as good as other things. Give it an 18.
Characters.
This is its strongest point for sure. Just because Eins is he's a pretty interesting character to follow along. And then a lot of the human sub characters that you meet, or minor characters that you meet, I really like a lot of them that you meet as characters. I think this is where it truly shines, and I'm going to give it a 21.
Oh, bro.
This might be a high D tier, like low C tier.
Just doing the math again one more time, just to make sure.
I feel like where it could really improve the most is fighting, because it has so much potential. In season 1, there's one fight that I would say is actually really good, and it's the final fight.
All right.
What do we get?
73%.
I thought I'd get like a 75, so I'm surprised, but I'm fine with that.
Pretty good. I mean, as long as you make it,
Oh yeah.
it's like a good anime.
We're on the last one, the grand finale.
One.
And I have a pretty good idea of where this one's being ranked. What's our last one, Benny?
It's One Piece.
Oh yeah, it's One Piece, baby.
This is going straight into S tier.
I knew it. I knew this would be your S tier.
My S tier on One Piece.
I just knew this would be your S tier.
Had to be done, dude. Had to be done.
I honestly think our S tiers are pretty spot on. Code Geass and One Piece, I think that's pretty spot on for S tier for everything that we've done. So, this is your S tier. You go ahead and start us off.
Well, okay. Just to let the audience know, like, Colton is a bigger One Piece fan than I am. I'm just letting everyone. He knows a lot more about it.
Everybody sees the flag right there.
Yeah. Frickin'.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have the same flag. Viewer, mine was on a flagpole that's attached to my car, my Jeep. But how do you even talk about one?
I honestly don't. We don't need to do an overview of the story because everybody knows the story, and if we did an overview, we'd be here all night.
I mean, dude, I was like, dude, people know the story. To be honest with you, it's so long, dude. Like,
Okay. We'll give the very. You want me to give the very bare bones minimum of what you need to know if you want to start One Piece?
yeah, so you can do it in like 30 seconds.
The bare bones minimum is the main character's name is Luffy. He is a pirate. His goal is to become the king of the pirates after the former king of the pirates called Gold Roger. The story starts with him in the East Blue where he's born, and it's just about him meeting his crewmates along the way and having pretty fun adventures to watch along the way. And that's that's the bare bones minimum what you need to know about One Piece. Start it.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like 1,000 billion episodes long.
This is one thing where I disagree with some of the people who have criticisms about that. I can complain about too much content if the content is not good. But if I like the content and the content is quality, I don't see a problem with quantity. If the quality's there, why are people upset about the quantity?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Naruto is like 750 episodes and it's not even quality. I'm sorry.
Refer to where it ended up on the tier list.
Yeah.
But
like it's not
there are points in One Piece where I will wholeheartedly agree. Skypiea is hard to get through.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to talk on this real quick. Not Skypiea specifically, just like the seasons. Because how I like try to get people into one is kind of disheartening. Because I'm like, dude, the show does not good, really good, until a season called Water 7. And then, but until you get to Water 7, you already have to watch. I think it's like almost 300 episodes. Then it's damn near 300 episodes. And imagine, 20 minutes per an episode, whatever. Dude, that's a long time. So, if you're ever going to watch One Piece, just literally watch a recap on everything until Water 7. And then Water 7 on.
I will say this, when I originally watched it, I liked East Blue. I thought it was at worst it was okay. And at points it was really good. Like Arlong Park, I really liked Arlong Park.
Yeah.
But now for every Arlong Park, there's the fucking Usopp one. Usopp one was boring. I didn't like that one. I feel like that is the epitome of One Piece. Where like it's broken into sagas and there's multiple arcs in a saga. A lot of the arcs, overall, I will say there are more hits than there are misses. And it is a very flawed S tier, I will admit. For the people who say that they don't want to sit through 300 episodes, I will concede there. I'm like, you don't want to wait for it to get good, that's fine. Like, if you don't want to, like, that's a fair complaint to have there. But now, for the people who get past it, and if they still don't like it, that's just preference. I just don't see how. I just don't see how you can't like it. Luffy, let's talk about the characters. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I was going to talk about the story real quick.
Let's do story first, yeah.
I get pissed at me for this, but I kind of want to go over every season real quick. Not in depth every season, just kind of rate each season.
Oh, go through each arc and rate it?
Yeah. Not like scale, just like if we good, bad, great, or whatever. So that way, if people do try and watch it, they know what to watch a recap on and what to actually watch. Real quick.
I think that's a pretty good one. Let's do it because there's so many arcs to go through. We'll start with the first one. The first arc is Buggy. We'll call it Buggy the Clown. We'll do it from the first episode to when they defeat Buggy.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's great though.
I think I would call it average. I think I'd give it a C. Average One Piece. Yeah. Which is still a lot better than most things.
Actually, I might switch to a Golden thing because once you get to like where One Piece is at, it doesn't.
And then after that, it is the Usopp Village. D. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, well, it's because of Usopp, dude.
Yeah, Usopp.
No one likes Usopp.
Usopp position. But anyway, Then after that is the Baratier, a step up. I would give that a B.
Oh,
I
B.
like the Baratier.
That's B.
I like
I
the Baratier.
love that bit, dude, because they introduced Sanji. I love Sanji.
And then
what
we
is
get
that? Do you know the
to
Grand Light.
Arlong Park.
Arlong. That's
Arlong.
what it is. That's B.
I think it's better than Baratier. I think I'd give Arlong an A.
If we go only off of the earlier, like from that point, it's going to be A. But if you compare it to
Oh yeah, to
everything,
compare. Yeah, that's right.
if you compare it to everything, it's going to be like a B. But if
I'd
it's
agree.
just off the early stuff, like the 300 episode about, then it's an A.
B's
And
fair.
then-
Let's go B.
And then what's the next one?
After that, they go up the mountain. They do Reverse Mountain, which that
Yeah.
only takes a few episodes, so I don't think we need to rate that. We'll
Yeah.
do the start of the Alabasta arc, which is Whiskey Peak, where they run into the pirates that try to kidnap them.
Alabasta's A. I don't care. Alabasta's
Alabasta's
A.
Alabasta,
That is actually a good.
that is
plot.
where Alabasta is. When I originally was watching it, it had my attention and I liked it, but that's where it truly sucked me in. That I was like,
Yeah.
now I will say this: I have one huge complaint with Alabasta. Do you remember the Falcon guy, Pell?
Yep.
How the fuck did he survive that nuke? There's no way. There's just no
Yeah.
way he survived that. That's my one complaint with Alabasta. There's no way.
Yeah.
He cannot survive that. He's not him. He's not that guy.
Yeah, he got a shit devil fruit too, if you ask me.
Yeah. But anyway, other than that, I give it an A. That's my one complaint with Alabasta.
Yeah, that's an A.
And then
What's the next
after that, it is they go to
Is it Skypiea?
no, it's the one before Skypiea where they meet where they learn about Nolan, the liar.
Oh, let's just say like pre
Say
Skypiea.
Pre Skypiea, C, average One Piece.
Yeah, it's okay. C,
Then we get to
Skypiea.
Skypiea, F.
F.
That is the worst of One Piece.
I didn't even finish Skypiea. I have a buddy that's watching it right now, and he's in Dressrosa right now, which is like the 600.
Shows some
and-
good art.
I'm pretty sure my friend stopped at Skypiea because he's like, "This is so dreadful to watch." I'm like, dude, skip it. Just watch a recap. It is. I didn't even finish it. To be
I
honest.
will say this: in Skypiea, NL is a very cool villain with a very cool devil fruit.
Yeah, he's a pretty.
That's
cool
the
guy.
one. That's the one saving grace is that the main villain, and I think that is the first. No, the first one we get introduced to hockey is with Shanks with the Sea Beast. Never mind. Anyway,
Mhm.
after that it is Thriller Bark. B. It's good.
Ooh, I disagree.
You didn't like Thriller
I'm
Bark?
gonna give. Fuck no. I think most people do not like part.
Really?
or
I
Bark or
liked.
whatever.
I liked Thriller Bark.
I'm pretty sure most people do not like it.
Me personally, I give it a B. I liked it.
I give it a low C.
Ooh.
It's not as bad as Skypiea, I'll tell you that, but it's not that good. Like it's doable, but it's.
I liked
like,
it
you get
first.
when you get to the end, it's good. Everything before that, it's just annoying.
I don't know. It has one of what I think is one of the funniest moments in it, where the zombie literally pops up and Luffy's just like, and just shoves him back into the ground. I thought that point was actually pretty funny. So it has one of my favorite comedic points, personally. But I'd give it a B. What?
Is it Thriller Park next, or is it Water 7?
Oh no, it would be Water 7. No.
Sure.
Oh, no,
I don't
no, it's-
remember.
No, it's Thriller Bark
Brooke?
because he didn't have gear 2 in that fight. He didn't have second gear in that fight.
I don't remember Brooke being at Water 7. I have to Google this. Hold on.
No way. Did he?
Because
he
I thought it goes through the bark and then they go into the meet.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up the actual. Like,
I'm
one
pretty
sucks.
sure it goes. I think it goes Skypiea, Foxy's Pirate Crew, then Water 7, then Annie's.
Yes,
Laundry,
we forgot
then
about Long.
Thriller's Park.
We forgot about Long Ring, Long Land, which that one's D. It's below average One
Is that the
Piece.
Foxy Pirate thing?
Below average One Piece D. It's not as bad as Skypiea.
Is that
Yeah.
Foxy's Fire Crew?
Yes.
I skipped that.
It's a
'Cause I
D.
thought it was filler. Hold on. Is Brooke in? Well, I'm pretty sure Brooke's not there.
So yeah, no, it would go. I forgot. I forgot Luffy must have had gear too for Thriller Bark then. Because yeah, Brooke wasn't
because there's no way because they get Frankie in Water 7. And
True.
Frankie
Yes. Okay.
Becomes before Brooke.
Well, shit. We skipped it then. Okay. Water 7, and
Yeah.
we'll do Water 7 and Ennie's Lobby as one. Both S. Both S tier.
Oh yeah, S tier. Because that's what originally got me like hooked into One Piece was once I got to Water 7.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe we forgot. I can't believe we skipped over it. I thought it was after Thriller Bark.
And then it goes Thriller Park, I believe.
Okay.
Then they have the new ship.
Yes, they do. They have the Thousand Sunny after that. And Frankie, I love Frankie. Pre-time skip, he was one of my favorite Straw Hats. Post-time skip, what'd they do to him? Why'd they butcher him?
Yeah.
Right, we'll get back. We'll get to that later.
And then
we did Thriller Bark.
And now we're at Thriller Bark.
And now it's
okay.
Ennie's Lobby. Now we're at Ennie's Lobby. Or not Ennie's Lobby. We're at Saba Odi. Saba Odi is B. I like Saba Odi.
Yeah, I give it B. I think it's really good.
And then this is another S tier, Marineford. And Impel Down and Marineford together, S.
Let's combine Impel Down and Marineford. It's a long bit. It's technically... Oh, wait, you would have the island.
Oh, yeah, Amazon Lily. Amazon Lily seats, average One Piece. I know what you want to do.
I just kind of want to give it a B. Just because.
You go for it. I'd give it a C. It's average One Piece.
My girls are there. My girl. And then it would be Impel Down, but we're going to combine Impel Down and the War, Marine, whatever. S tier.
You could argue it. You could argue it is the best arc. It's definitely in the top 3 arcs. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then post Marineford, which is like I'd give it C, average One Piece.
Are you talking about the backs with Luffy and Ace? And yeah, I'd probably give it a C because I stopped watching because I kind of got bored, and then once I finished it, I think so. It's like a C.
And then we're on to Fishman Island, D, below average One Piece.
Technically, they go. What do you call it? They go back to freaking the archipelago.
Oh, the return to Saba Odi. I consider that all post Marineford. Or like just post time skip. I consider it all the same.
Yeah.
That's why I said C average. It's just average.
Okay, yeah, C.
And then Fishman Island. D. Below average One Piece. I hate Horty Jones. He is an uninteresting villain.
Yeah. The problem with Fishman Island, just to like be clear, it just reminds me of so much because at the very end, they literally are so strong they can one tap like any of them. It's just the reason why they don't is because there's all these little side bullshit things happening that are just getting everyone distracted and they all get separate. But at the very end, they all get together. Fight as it. And they just mob. Like it's not even close.
I will say this: the final fight, though, when Luffy actually like unleashes his Conqueror's Hockey and knocks out 50,000 guys, that was pretty cool. That was a very cool scene.
Yeah.
So but Horty Jones is such a shit ass villain, dude. Oh my god, he's just a watered down Arlong.
Luffy after time skip is busted. Like before, Luffy spams like kind of the same moves and shit. He gets like a couple. But after the time skip, Luffy's just no, it was Water 7. What's after what? Or not Water 7, sorry. Fishman Island.
Oh no, it's the island, the half cold, half hot. What's it called?
Punk Hazard.
Punk Hazard, yes. C average One Piece.
Hazard, C. Yep.
And now
It's
we get to
alright.
another. Oh, is this an A or an S tier? Dressrosa's S tier, if you ask me.
Dressrosa's
I love
S
Dress.
tier.
That's S tier.
Dressrosa, I think, has one of the because they have Law's backstory in Dressrosa, and I think.
Oh god, that's such a sad backstory, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the best backstories in all of One Piece.
One of the best villains in One Piece, dude.
And the animation starts getting like better too around this point. Well, not around this point. You see it kind of,
which is pretty cool.
And yeah, and then the animation's like fairly like good in Dressrosa. So you're like, okay, this is actually kind of good. Stories written. The villain, Doflamingo, dude, crazy ass villain.
I think at the end of this, I think you and me have I bet you and me have the exact same if we said our top 3 arcs, maybe just in different orders. But we'll do that at the end. We'll do that after this. But I think you and me have the same exact 3 arcs.
And
then it's Zoe after that.
S tier. Zoe, I give Zoe B.
I give it a C. It's average One Piece, if you ask me.
Because
what follows it is better, if you ask me.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I would give that a C, and then I would give the next one a B.
The reason why I give Zoe a B is because they start introducing like some like big bad motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
when we first see Kaido.
Yeah, we thought Doflamingo was fucking cracked. He is, but like, dude, because then you introduce like Kaido's crew, which is one, and it's just crazy. And then you go back, cat and dog, is super well done. I think in the though, because it's starting to get better animated and stuff, is better. So I just give it a B. Pretty much everything from so I'm giving Zoe B.
I personally was still going to C. If you ask me, it's average One Piece. There's nothing I like that introduces it's the start of everything, but I think actually ramping up the stakes, because in the next arc, which is what's the actual island? Whole Cake Island. That is the first time Luffy actually gets to technically fight a Yonko, and that is Big Mom.
And if you ask me, I think Whole Cake Island was probably my favorite arc, but it's probably my second favorite arc now. I love Sanji though. It's like surrounded, and I just love Sanji. And then the animation gets even better. The writing gets better. Everything just gets so much better for some reason in the Whole Cake Island. And then
Brook being the absolute good MVP at the end there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Brook, oh my god.
That one.
And then we get to, if you ask me, the last S tier for the last arc that they finished, Wano S tier.
S tier.
S tier.
Oh, did we even give a rating for Whole Cake Island? I don't think we did.
I said B.
Oh, you said B? I'm giving it like A plus. Like I don't want to give it S tier just because, but it's like. But yeah,
I personally, I would give Whole Cake Island a B personally, because it's definitely good One Piece. But Wano S.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Wano really does anything wrong.
Because Wano is that's like modern day animation, writing, like everything. And
that has one of the coolest fucking fights that you will see.
I have not finished Wano, but me and Colton were at the gym the other day. At the pretty much very close to the end, and it's one of it's getting close to the final fight. Literally, just a normal episode, towards the end, is like peak any other anime that you're probably watching. I don't care what it says.
And it introduces Yamato. Oh my gosh, she's so bad.
Like JJK, right? Everyone bad shit crazy. Dude, they're freaking grind. That's an average One Piece episode in Wano. And it's like 200 something episodes long. Especially towards the end. So get out of my face. Yeah, that's S tier.
All right, and then you do your number 1. No, do your 3, 2, and then 1 for your arcs in order, like that way. So I want to know how you would order your top 3, because you and me agree with top. So we can both agree that the best 3 arcs is Wano, Marineford, and Impel Down, and was it Dressrosa? So those are the 3 we put in S tier.
Oh. I like Whole Cake Island better than Dressrosa.
Oh, okay. So then you have that in your top 3, but those would be my top 3, and I'm thinking about what order I would put them in.
I would go Wano, Whole Cake Island.
So Wano at 3rd.
No. Wano's number 1. Whole Cake Island's number 2. And then if we're just combining in board, that's number 3. And then right after that would be Dressrosa. It's not like just because Dressrosa's or forward doesn't make it like bad or anything. It's just like it's still like it's amazing. But those 3 are just my favorite.
Now, if you ask me, I would go number 3. I would go Dressrosa. Then I would go Wano and then Marineford. If you ask me, I love Marineford. I thought Marineford, what is it? What's it called? I'm trying to think. What's it called? Fucking Water 7 drew me in. Oh, we also put Water 7 at S. My bad. We put 4 at S tier. Water 7 really sucked me into it. Marineford made me love One Piece. Like, I fell in love with One Piece after that. So for me, Marineford has to be number 1.
One Piece.
For me, it has to be number 1. But Wano is so close to passing it. Wano's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, we finished ranking our list of 25 anime, which is a list that I made, which I was like, oh, these are probably like really popular 25 anime. Benny, let's run through them. Do you have them written down so we can just see where we put them on the tier list? And I imagine we'll probably have the actual tier list at the end of the video. We'll have it all, show it all in the picture.
So these are the final ratings. You ready?
I'm right.
Dragon Ball got 81, so got a B. Naruto got 73%, which is a C. Bleach got 47%, F. Code
Fuck Bleach.
Code Geass with your S tier. So we're just gonna say it's 100%. You know, we rated it after it got 92. So it was an A. My Hero Academia got 73%. D. Full Metal Alchemist, 83%. B. Hunter x Hunter, 75%. C. Black Clover, 91%. A. I think this is supposed to be ReZero, 94. A. Jujutsu Kaisen, 97%. A. Chainsaw Man, 92. A. Demon Slayer, 92. A. One Punch Man, 68%. D. Kaiju number 8, 87%. B. Vinland Saga, 68%. D. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, 64%. D. I'm sorry. Hell's Paradise, 88%. B. Jobless Reincarnation, 79%. C. The Rising of the Shield Hero has 2 ratings. If you only watch the first season, it's 77%. but overall it got 66%. So was that a D? And then 86. I think that's what the anime is called. It's just 86, right?
It's called
Okay.
86.
Okay, 86.
It's like Hunter
86.
x Hunter.
79C.
It
Fairy
would have been
Tail,
funny if it also
40.
got an 86.
Fairy Tail got 42F.
Fuck Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail sucks.
Seven Deadly Sins got 73% C. Solo Leveling got 81% B. Overlord got 73% C. And One Piece got 100% because that is my S tier.
Overall, I think our ratings were actually pretty fair.
I think
pretty
our
good.
ratings are very fair.
Because we were harsh on stuff that we actually
Mhm.
love. We were pretty
Mhm.
harsh on some certain things.
Because like when we agreed, and when we didn't agree,
We
like
found the middle point.
yeah. So it's not like we were dick riding each other. I feel like maybe on some of them we might have, but I feel like for the most part we were fair. Now I already know people that watch this that know this shit are gonna be like, oh my gosh, why is Dragon Ball 81? Dragon Ball is one of my favorite animes of all, but it's not gonna compare. I'm sorry, it's just something.
No, I'm telling you, what is going to be the most, if we get clipped from this, the most controversial will be the Bleach take. People
You think?
fucking love Bleach. Oh my god, people go fucking bananas for it. It's one of the big three, unfortunately. But anyway,
dude, we should have added Dr. Stone in this, bro.
I was thinking about that, but I already did 25.
That's fair.
But we may do a part 2 one day down the line.
Part 3 technically, or who knows? Maybe we'll just like get a big call and Discord going, and me and Colton will just host. We won't even talk, and we'll see
If we can get some people. We'll see if we can get some people to talk about it. I'd like to. I think it'd be pretty. You know what we should do? You and me are judges. We have one person present their side of it for being this rating, and we have another person present this side of it to be a rating, and then you and me decide like whose rating we choose.
That would be good.
I think that'd be fun.
This might be a part 3, guys.
I think a part 3 would be very fun. But anyway, that was our first official full-length episode of Cracked Views, first subject. Anything you want to add before we go, Benny?
To people watching this, to our total of 2 viewers probably,
Like, yeah.
if you have any suggestions or anything that we're doing wrong, whatever, if you have any talking ideas for us, like you said, we could do video games, pretty much anything we could talk about. Because we'll have a view on it for some reason.
At least like one of us.
Food, I don't know, video games, Lego, I don't know, something. Yeah, that's all I pretty much got. Thanks for tuning in, though. Hopefully, you all agree with our list. So.
Oh, they won't. No, but no one ever agrees with lists these days. Anything you say is inflammatory, and it's automatically going to get you flamed. So no matter what you say, nobody will agree with you. But to the 2 people watching, we appreciate you watching. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.